Okay, Dale Farrington, how are you? We've just witnessed two disappointing losses by the Thai national team and the seventh round, which saw a new leader in the Thai League. How was your few weeks watching that?
Well, obviously very disappointed with the two national team results, but probably more disappointed with the fallout afterwards. First of all, the rumours about Zico going to get sacked, and then obviously his resignation. And then nice to see the Thai League resuming on Monday of this week, and some interesting fixtures and some interesting results.
We'll take a look at the national team straight away before we get back into the league in round 7. So two disappointing losses, one at home to Saudi Arabia and one away to Japan. Did you see this coming at all, these results?
I think so. I mean, there were always... I think that they got too optimistic, expecting too much in the group. I mean, a very tough group. I mean, as many people have now said, Thailand are in that sort of strange intermediate stage where they're too good for Southeast Asia but not quite ready for the next step up. And hopefully they'll learn from this experience, and it will make them better.
Sure.
As I said in the introduction, I was obviously very disappointed that Zico's gone, and there's been a bit of a fallout between him and Somyot and the Football Association. And I just hope now they made the right appointment for the right reasons.
Yeah, maybe going back to the knee-jerk reaction with blaming coaches and trying to make quick changes to the coaching staff to make changes to the national team. But yeah, I think you're right. Looking at the national team, just the attitude of the national team, it's like a pendulum that switches back and forth. A couple of good results, or even one good result, and they seem to be beating their chests and saying, yeah, we're somebody in Asian football, and then it often follows with these disappointing results. So where's the future for Thai national team, do you think?
Well, it's going to be a long road. Again, I think they've proved that they can get this far. It's just making that next step, but it's not something that's going to happen easily. I think they need to start looking at more long term, and actually putting things in place to develop players over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, if there's one word you want to say, I'd like to say the national team, it's just perspective. Look at where you have been.
Yeah.
There has been progress, but obviously it's a step-by-step thing. Hopefully, it's a shame that Zico left, because he had a big history in supporting the coaching staff for the national team, and he has had good results. So for the last few World Cup qualifying matches, they're a long way away, but a quick prediction for those ones, Dale.
Well, I can't really see them getting anything out of any of them, to be honest. I mean, the confidence will be quite low now, but it all depends who they bring in. They've got to be very careful appointing the next coach, because it's a big decision that they're faced with, and they've got to get it right, because if they make a wrong move now, it could set them back even further.
Well, I don't know. I may disagree with you with that, because do you remember was it the away game to was it Iraq or Saudi Arabia? They had a crushing defeat, and that was followed there were desperate talks of what's the future of Thai national team, and then that was followed up by the draw against Australia, and then it's like saying, oh, okay, we can mix it with the best of them in Asia. And maybe at this time there is a lowered expectation, and maybe the players and everybody are more relaxed to actually make something happen. But it's something that we'll see what happens, and hopefully the progress that has happened with the team over the years will continue in the future. So alright, so go straight on to looking at round 7 in the Thai League, which we saw happen last Monday. And of course the big fixture that everybody was looking at was the match between Buriram United and Muang Thong United, the two teams that have dominated the league in previous years. Your take on that game, Dale?
Well, I think by all accounts Buriram deserve to win. I think the huge question marks now against Muang Thong's temperament. I think one or two of the players lost their cool a little bit, didn't handle getting beaten very well. And I mean, it could be a hangover from the national team's games. I mean, obviously Muang Thong have got a lot of players who represent the national team, and we could be seeing a little bit of that now, that sort of dent to the confidence horizon. They're not invincible, and that was probably the last place they wanted to go on the back of 2 big defeats to the national side.
Absolutely.
But again, it keeps
the first loss for Muang Thong United this year, following 6 straight victories. So possibly a change in the tides of the Thai League 2017. I was actually at the game. I went to Buriram versus Muang Thong. If anybody's wondering, I actually am based in Buriram and I'm married to a Buriram lady, but I'm not a Buriram fan myself. I'm a Thai League fan. Yeah, I think for me, I think it was. I think that the Muang Thong really lacked the concentration and confidence that they've shown in the first 6 games, and I think really the national team results had a lot to do with it. You can just imagine the mindset of players like Chanatip and Tirasil and Kawin and Tristan Doe and all of their national players, and how they would have really had a tough time to get up mentally for that game. So do you think this is worrying times for Muang Thong? It's only 1 match, but do you think it's a change in the trajectory for their season?
I don't think they've got anything to worry about. Like I said earlier, it's probably the last place they would have wanted to go at that time. If they'd have had a home game against sort of a team in the bottom half, I think it would have been a lot easier and it would have got them back on track. No, I can't really see that it's going to have that much effect. I mean, as I've said all along, I think that the real test is going to be the AFC Champions League games. I mean, I think next week they've got the next round of games, so that'll be the real test to see how they cope in there, and then how they can transfer that form into the league.
Yeah. To tell the truth, the first thing that I thought about with this result is who has Muang Thong got next? Because we've got a lot of players in Muang Thong that have had a run of disappointing results. They must be struggling to find motivation. I think if they had a tough game coming up next, there's a chance that they could have not got the best result, and then the whole question mark of their season might come up. But they have got Superpower, the bottom team, next, so that's probably exactly the fixture that they would have wanted to get confidence back again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, with all due respect to Jason With and his players, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, they were poor by all accounts against Nakhon Ratchasima in the week. I saw the games on the highlights, and some of the defending was just abysmal. So I think, that'd be certainly a good one for Muang Thong to have this weekend. Yeah.
Well, they would be expected to get all 3 points, which they should do, and we'll see what happens. So, looking at the next match, we've got one that I'm sure that you saw, probably live, Chonburi and Ratchaburi, and 2 penalties coming late in the game. What did you think about that, Dale?
Well, yes, exactly.
I watched the replay just a short time ago. The first one, I've got to hear what you say first. Off you go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought, live and in real time, I thought they were very poor decisions. Again, like you, I've watched them a couple of times since. The first one, I still can't see that there's anything there. I can't see why he would give a penalty. The second one, you could probably understand. It looked, probably from where the referee was standing, that he brought Prince down from behind. I'm still not 100% convinced. I think it's one of these things where, if the boot had been on the other foot and these decisions had been given against us, I'd have been absolutely furious. As it is, I can be more rational and just say I think he got them wrong, and we benefited from 2 very poor decisions on Monday.
Just a lapse in concentration by the referee?
Well, you would hope that it's nothing more sinister than that, yes.
Okay, we'll put it down to that. But
I mean, like I say, the first one certainly, I don't think anybody appealed, and I can't. Usually that's a sign. I mean, it's if a couple of the players appeal, the crowd, but there was nothing.
Yeah, that was a bizarre. I didn't see how that could be misinterpreted, that moment.
No.
But anyway, the result did go to Chonburi in the end. How's Chonburi playing these days?
Well, it wasn't a great performance. I mean, we've strung a few wins together, which is pleasing after a sort of indifferent start. And again, that's the kind of thing that you need to get your confidence up. I mean, we've got a difficult game away on Saturday at Supambury. I mean, again, they haven't really set the world alight, and games against them usually end in a draw. So I'm expecting to get a point there.
And Ratchaburi, they've been... Yeah? I was going to say, Ratchaburi's really been over the years, they've been a team who seem to be able to defeat anybody on their day. How strong do you think they are this year?
They didn't look that impressive on Monday night, I must admit. I mean, again, it's always difficult to tell with these games that come after an international break. I mean, I think the consensus is amongst the players that they need to keep playing, and all the stop-start nature of the league certainly doesn't help. And I mean, even these friendlies that they insert in the gaps, I don't think they really benefit anyone, to be honest. And to a large extent, I feel sorry for the players, but they're all in the same boat. I just didn't think it was a particularly good game on Monday. Neither team looked that impressive. I can't see them, either of the side, doing anything this year.
All right, well, looking at the other results, obviously good results. A good result by Tai Port at home, beating the strong-looking Ubon UMT, and probably the big one is a new leader at the top, 3-0 Chiang Rai United over Thai Honda. They're looking strong, and all of them were on a Monday. Did that raise any eyebrows for you, being the fixtures being set on a Monday?
Well, yes, it did. I mean, I can sort of understand the logic behind it, giving the players an extra break after the fixtures, but that didn't really affect a large number of clubs. I mean, we've already spoken about Mung Thong having the lion's share of the national team in their squad. I mean, for me, there didn't seem to be any reason why they couldn't have played the bulk of the games over Saturday and Sunday. And if team whose players had been away on that international duty had requested an extra day, they could have swapped to the Monday as long as both teams agreed. And if they wanted the Buriram Mung Thong game to be the focus, I mean, they could have played that on Monday night just in isolation. You'd have got a lot of people watching it. There was obviously a lot of interest in the game. I think sometimes they just don't think things through properly. And
it's not ideal to have everything all at once on the same day. And we've seen matches now on Friday and Monday and Saturday, Sunday and Wednesday. So we've only got Tuesday and Thursday to go, but it may happen.
Yeah, well, I think that there are around fixtures on a Tuesday coming up.
Oh, okay.
I think after Songkran, the first one was Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean, I could be wrong. I vaguely remember that. But for me, I mean, like I say, that in principle, there's nothing wrong with Monday night football if they think about it. I mean, you saw the crowd at Buriram, 33,000 or whatever. You were one of them. So, why couldn't they have just played that game on its own on the Monday night, played the rest of the fixtures over Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
They'd have done themselves a big favour. The crowds in all the other games would have been up. You'd have had this big game that was the focus. You'd have had a huge
big TV audience. Yeah.
It would have made a lot more sense.
And it's just easier for the fans to follow the league itself as well. So okay, well we'll go straight on to the top half of the table as it stands after 7 rounds, and Chiang Rai United, I think for the first time in their history, find themselves at the top of the table, following the Mung Thong United defeat. Buriram United have gone up now, and Bangkok Glass are rounding out the top 4. So any comments looking at the top half there?
Well, as you expect at the top. I mean, I'm still not changing my mind on Chiang Rai. I think still don't think they've got enough to win the league, even though obviously they're currently top, unbeaten, looking strong. Good win on Monday night. So we'll see. I mean, Mung Thong is a blip. Buriram, as expected, are starting to get their act together.
Yep.
They'll probably go on a long.
And Bangkok United now in the top half.
Yeah, I mean I didn't expect that poor period to last very long. I knew they'd turn it around. They've got a couple of tough games coming up, and I think once they get their confidence back, that we should see them move up the table. I mean, I think top 4 is probably the best they can hope for this season. I don't think we'll see a repeat of last year's heroics. and really it's the current top three that are going to be challenging.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Looking at the top of the table.
I still stand by my predictions. I think Buriram will end up winning the league, and either Muangthong and Chiang Rai will be second and third.
Well, they've had a great confidence boost last week, and I think definitely things are looking up for Buriram at the moment. So looking at the bottom half, down the bottom, Superpower still there, and Sisaket and Sukhothai, no change I think with the bottom three. Any comments there looking at the bottom half of the table?
Well, Superpower in a very difficult position. I mean, they're already 5 points adrift of 15th place.
Yeah.
I know Jason Witt's just taken over. But again, as I said, I've alluded to it earlier when I mentioned the Nakhon Ratchasima game on Monday, they just looked really, the defence looked absolutely shocking. I mean, even by Thai standards, it was poor defending. So that's something that Jason's going to have to work on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the experience. If anyone can turn it round, it's going to be him. But they're in a very poor position at the moment.
Do you see any teams that are kind of how would you say it, punching above their weight? No, that's not really the right way to put it. But a team that's not going to be able to hold the position that they're at the moment, and you think are going to drop pretty soon in the table.
That's a good question. It's one I'm going to struggle to answer, to be honest. Just looking at the
you got Tero in the top half. They've had good results so far.
Yeah. I mean, you'd always expect Tero to be a top half side. I think. If Port can get their away form on track, I mean, there's no doubting what they can do at home, but away from home they need to sort that out. Ubon United, it'll be interesting to see how things pan out for them over the course of the season.
Yeah, I think a top half of the table is a good goal for them this year.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Yeah, but I don't know, Pattaya United, they seem to always get themselves in relegation battles, but they're looking, I mean, they're number 10 right now, so... Okay, alright.
Yeah, they've looked pretty solid, to be fair. I mean, they won again on Monday night, beat Sisaket quite convincingly by all accounts. So yeah, I think they'll be one of these teams who are sort of solidly mid-table.
Okay, and it is pretty tight down the bottom there, just a few points separating the bottom bunch of teams. So going straight on to the next round, well, I'll ask you, Dale, just to do a quick preview, can you just tell me a couple of games that are worth looking at, and can you give us a quick backstory to why you would recommend these games, supposing you were talking to someone who didn't know a lot about the backstory about the league at the moment? So, one team...
Okay.
Yep.
Well, first one's obviously Ubon United against Buriram United. Big derby up there in the northeast. Ubon, new kids on the block, looking fairly solid early season. Buriram United coming into form. Hopefully, I mean, it's only a small stadium, so it'll be packed. So I think that's certainly a game to keep our eye on. And again, another northeast derby, Sisaket, Nakhon Ratchasima. Sisaket struggling near the bottom. Again, a mid-table side. So there's going to be a lot of big match there, a lot of local rivalry. I think Isan, we're now seeing a lot of teams in that region. It's becoming a bit of a powerhouse, really. I think that the onus is moving away from sort of the major centres out into the northeast, which is a good thing. They've obviously got the passion for the game up there.
Yeah, definitely good to see, and also strong team up in the north as well. Okay, I think for myself, looking at an interesting one, I think is BC Tero and Bangkok United. BC Tero are above Bangkok United at the moment, but Bangkok United is supposed to be one of the favourites this year, so that is a match that will be interesting to look at. And yeah, any others there you'd recommend, Dale?
Let's have a quick look.
Worth looking at. I'm scanning them as well.
Yeah, we've talked about Superpower Muangthong. I mean, I think we're looking at a fairly routine away win there, I would expect.
Okay.
Rat Bay and Pattaya, two teams that mid-table, and like I've just said, Patia are doing quite well, so I can see an away win there, to be honest. But certainly based on what I saw from Matbury the other night.
I think Chiang Rai United and Thai Port, that's an interesting fixture as well. That's a bit of a test for Chiang Rai. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think it'll be more of a test for Port, as I've said. That
I don't think there's any expectations on Port.
No, but it'll be interesting to see if they can keep the scoreline down. That's going to be the worry. I think they've had a couple of tonkins on their travel.
Never predict Thai Port. They'll always surprise you.
No.
One way or the other. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for that, Daryl. We'll have a chat. We'll have a chat again next week, and it's good to see the Thai League up and running. So have a good time this weekend, and have a good week.
Yep. Thanks very much, and you, and enjoy watching the football.